Hey guys, this is Walt from Gamers Class. Today I'm doing a replay analysis for a member of Gamers Class. Before we get into this replay, just a little bit about myself. The primary role I play is offlane and the peak MMR I've achieved is 8,900. Right, so getting into this replay today, we're going to be taking a look at a Darkseer's gameplay. He is currently 3,990 MMR and he is playing offlane in this game.
If you like this kind of content, go to gamersguys.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
Alright, so first things first, your starting items. They're fine. I like the stick versus the PA, obviously. It's kind of good. I don't know how I feel about these branches. I would probably have just gone like a gauntlet, but the branches are fine. I generally don't like when people go straight magic wand, because it's only 3 stats, right? For 450 gold, whereas a bracer is like just more, right? It grants you a bit more of everything that you need, and it's only a bit more expensive. I generally like to just go a stick, and then I like to go straight bracer. So then I have stick and bracer, and then maybe later on you can go into a magic wand, but you don't want to go the wand so early. To me, I don't like it. This is also a lane where you can think of getting a ring of protection nice and early because it builds into a Soul Ring. But you can obviously go bottle too. We can see how the game goes. Whenever you have a mid that doesn't really want to go bottle, Windrunner sometimes goes bottle, sometimes they do not. Like, sometimes they have a free lane like this, an Alchemist, and they just go like straight Javelin, Phase Boots, and just run around the map and not go bottle. In those scenarios, I think it's fine if you go bottle. Anyways, this is a rune you can definitely contest. I don't love using the shot this early on because you want a double shot at the start, but this is fine. Rubik taking Telekinesis is real bad. You hate to see that shit happen. You should definitely have taken Fade Bolt. He's not gonna die. This is just silly though. This doesn't mean anything because PA will just TP. Using the shot at the start kind of feels bad because it's 100 mana. Anyways, when you're playing as Darkseer, generally there are 2 ways you want to do it. Like, if you have someone with you here, like the Rubik, then you just want to double shot the wave and just push as hard as possible. And then you want to abuse this pull, right? That's what I usually do on Darkseer. So, but seeing as Rubik is not here, I wouldn't mind if you just play the lane normally because they're going to be able to hit you as 2 euros and Rubik won't be able to help you. So let's see how you do it. Alright, this is good because you know the lane's going to already push up because the tower is attacking. So what you could do is you could just chill. What you're doing is fine because you know the lane's going to come up. You're taking some hits, but it doesn't really matter at all. Lane's in a pretty good spot. They're probably going to be able to pull though. Like, generally you don't want to be in this situation of Darkseer because you want to be abusing this side camp on Darkseer. Like right now, what I would most definitely do, I would shove this as hard as I can. I would use the next shot and I would shove this down. And then I would get this pull off. Like, Techies can't stop you two from pulling because you can just run at him with Iron Shot and Rubik can just use his lift, right? Like here, I would just be hitting the creeps as hard as possible because I would want to pull. I don't like you just... Like, you're just running around here not hitting him, right? Just be inside the wave, be on top of him and like hit him. You can click him here. Like, you're taking a lot of damage here for no reason, basically. Yeah? Like, that was like, what, 4 or 5 hits? Like, half your HP bar? Which was completely unnecessary. But anyways, this is fine. This is where I would shell again. And then you can be quite aggressive, you don't have to be scared. And then you need to make sure your support pulls here. This is pretty much perfect. Yeah, this is good. And then he needs to get the pull off. With Rubik it's always possible because you can hit and then he can use his lift if he absolutely wants to get off. Yeah, he's pulling way too early, he's not going to get that. Another thing that's very nice in Darkseer you can always do is you can always stack this because you can always clear it. I don't like that you're running away from this. What I would do here is, seeing as this is like a massive wave, I would run them the tower, because you know Rubik's fighting if, I mean, Techies is fighting if you're Rubik because he doesn't want them to pull, right? So let's say Techies comes here and hits you, right? That means your Rubik's gonna get a free pull off, so most of the time Techies is gonna sit here. So what you should do is, you should follow him here. Literally stick on top of him and try to deny his CS, because you don't pull aggro from him and he can't hit you because you have an iron shell on you. So you don't try to hit him, you just want to deny his CS. So you stay on top of the wave, you stand here, stand here, stand here, and you just deny. Here, you should be here denying this creep. You should be here denying this creep. You know, it's not scary at all. And now, like, you just pulling this wave away, it just means PA is gonna get all this. You just gave him, what, 6 CS there for free? You're giving him more CS for free? You would much rather be in his face and be contesting these CS. Like, you have a strong lane of Doxia and Rubik, and they have like this Techies PA. They're not very strong at all. You should be able to at least deny his CS a bit, but you're just giving him free CS. Like, honestly, if I'm this Doxia and I just sit on this tower on these creeps, you should at least be able to deny a few of them. Even if you don't deny a few of them, you can just have your iron shot on him. And the best case scenario is that you pull this Techies to you, so Rubik can pull. Like, you understand if Techies comes to hit you, Rubik will get the free pull off, right? And also, like, yeah, you can just contest this guy. Like, this should be a free deny. There should be another contest on the CS, you know? And then you pulling this just means that PA is just gonna get more free farm, which I really don't like. The only plus about this is that you're gonna be up here again, but do you really want to be there? No, right? You just want to be shoving as hard as possible and just getting value on this lane. Generally on Doxia, I like to get this vacuum at the start, level 1. Just because it's kind of low mana cost. I know the cooldown is long, but the mana cost is low. It's 60 mana for 100 damage. It's a lot if you think about it. It's a decent nuke. Like, there's no real point in being here. You can't really kill this PA, because you can always just jump away, you know? That's why when I'm Doxia, I tend to not try to keep the lane up here, unless I have killing potential. I generally, when I'm Doxia, I just try to get as much value as possible. That means just shove, 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 and try to abuse the pull. Stack this as much as possible too. Say in this lane, I think your items are fine. I don't think you need a bracer here, honestly. I think you could just go bottle. Bottle will do a lot for you. You could almost have it right now if you had just saved the money. Because, you know, Winner is probably not going to go bottle, so you can probably get a rune. And there's bounties too. And you can always give your bottle to Rubik to refill it. Bottle's such a nice item in Doxia. The alternative is obviously just going Soaring. So if you're going to go bracer Soaring, I'm fine with it too. See, like, all this pulling the wave up here didn't do much. P is going to get all this farm anyways, so... yeah, I think P is getting a bit too much in the lane. And this is really bad, man. Like, because you did this thing where you pull the creeps behind the tower, Techies now is going to get this pull off on a stacked pull camp. So, before you get here, he's probably going to be able to deny some creeps. Let's see. Alright, so that's one creep that you won't get the experience or gold from. Like here, you should instantly be running to the side. I know mines make it a bit harder, but you can kill these mines. Oh man, this is not good at all. You just face tanked like 2 creeps there and you missed 2 creeps too. And now you're like half HP. You're not gonna die, but that was very, very, very unnecessary. Now you're in quite a bad spot. You also lost your courier. This was just a terrible sequence of events. All started with like pulling this wave here and then allowing him to pull. Something you could have done better. Something I wouldn't mind you doing actually. I'm just gonna go back to it. I'll forward back now in a second. So what you could have done, you could have pulled this wave into this camp here and just farmed it. Because like, you could have actually blocked the stack. This is fine. Like, you letting him stack this is okay if you pull this camp in here and you just farm it. You'll get a lot of value that way, but you pulling this wave here and also letting him get off the stack is not good at all because he's going to be able to pull on the next wave, right? Anyways, I'm going to forward back to where I was. Yeah, this is not good at all, letting him get those mines on you. Now you're in a pretty bad spot. You're like quarter HP, you have no mana at all. Honestly, I would prefer you just running back to base with your surges and then coming back with full HP. Because you're not in a spot to contest this lane at all anymore. I don't think I would go Vanguard this game. I think honestly I would try to build up to Greaves. Maybe get a Pipe. Like your big items this game should be like Greaves, Pipe, and you should get a Lotus Orb for sure. Lotus Orb's very good this game. So many things that it counters. I definitely think this is a bottle lane though, because you're being contested quite heavily. The hell is Uspert doing? You're not doing too badly in this lane. There have just been some silly mistakes though that I didn't like too much. I mean, now there's 3 euros, so there's not a whole lot you can do. You're gonna end up dying here if you play too aggressive. Generally, it's like if they come in as a tri lane, you shouldn't care too much because the enemy offlaner should have a horrible time. Yeah, this is a pretty bad death. It's very unnecessary. You could have just sat back. It all just happened. Basically, all of it happened just because of this lane started falling back. I mean, down when you started to do this, right? And when you like got hit by these mines. These mines were a very bad misplay for you in this lane. I see you going Ring of Health. Don't love it, don't hate it. I think you should just go Soaring at this point. You should just be more greedy. Like when it's post 5 minutes for Darkseer, all you have to do is you just have to. You can apply a lot of pressure onto PA right now. Like you can go here, put your shot on yourself, get all this farm. Like PA should have a pretty hard time against you right now. You can't tank your shot anymore. Like honestly think you put your shell on the creeps and you just run at PA right now. Like shell. Yeah, this is good. You even have a glyph. Oh, you don't have a glyph anymore, so I'll put it on cooldown. Like here, all you have to do is here, you just run right next to him. You don't have to kill him. You just stay on his face. I guess you don't know where Uspert is, so it's a little bit scary, but I don't think they can kill you when you're full HP. You also have a pot. So this lane isn't going too well. PA is like getting a lot of farm. You also got first blood, so it's not ideal. But yeah, this is a perfect scenario where you see this Uspert. Like here, you don't have to run past him here. You should really just go on him, yeah. You don't have to like kill him, but just put the shot on you and run right next to him. I don't think you can die here. And you can put so much pressure on him. Like here, you just stay on top of him. He's probably gonna end up dying. He won't die, but you'll do a lot of damage to him. And this is just the value play. I don't think they can kill you, so it's fine. You just have to be a bit apprehensive of these mines. This is the second time your career is timed. Don't think you die here. Right, you should be fine. You generally want to get your wall at level 6 too, because you can pressure the enemy carry a lot by getting the wall. Like level 7, you want the wall, plus level 4 Iron Shell, then you just make an illusion of him, and you put your Iron Shell on the illusion, and you let the illusion chase him around. It's so strong. Like, right now you're very strong. I wish Rubik was here though. He's just sitting in the jungle. You guys can contest this lane quite hard if he was here. There's no way you can die. Like instead of pulling this again, like if you pull this, he's just gonna get all this farm. If I were you, I would just stack this camp and then farm it afterwards with your shell. You can be a bit more greedy. Like you're gonna get this camp, right? But PA is gonna get all this farm anyways. Or if you stack and pull, you just get a bit more. You see what I mean, right? Like now PA is just gonna get all of this anyways. This pull changed absolutely nothing. It just makes it so he's in a safer place to farm. That's it. Don't know why he's so scared. Oh, that was a long ass silence. Nothing to say right now about the game. The next objective you should be looking at is you're playing with an alchemist, so getting the 10-minute bounties is very important. I don't love you not taking any levels in vacuum. Like, one level is definitely value. It's 100 damage. And it's some form of control too. Anyways, your next objective is like 10-minute bounties and 10-minute catapults. You should be trying to take this tower, so you need to have Wall of Replica at this point. Because as I've already said, if you just wall this guy, put your shot on the illusion, you can get him off this tower. But you should wait for the catapult to come. But yeah, as you can see, bounties are coming. Man, very important. Whenever you're playing with an alchemist, bounties are top priority. Like, you need to be going there and trying to get that bounty. This is not good at all that you're not contesting it. Like, he just got 2 free bounties because you decided to farm the wave. Whenever you're playing with Techies, you want to refrain from going into here. But this is the perfect chance where you get to just go under the tower. Like, you really want your Wall of Replica here. And you just want to use it on him. This is a free tower now. This should be your top priority, getting this tower. Like, there's no point in running here and taking these creeps. Just run after this PA and stay on his ass. Put the Iron Shot on yourself, get your Wall of Replica, put on the replicates, and then just, this is a free tower at this point, honestly. Like, he should not be getting these free CS here. This should be unacceptable. Like, what are you gaining for this? You're gaining what, one little camp because you decided to farm the shit, and now your catapults is dying for no reason. As an offlaner, you need to understand that, like, this tower is extremely important because it unlocks their jungle for your team. Again, you're pulling without stacking. It's just very inefficient. Oh, it did stack. Oops, I didn't see that. My bad. Yeah. I would really love to see you getting a wall. A point in your wall. Like, I think this bot tower should have dropped at this point. I think he could have died there. And if you use your vacuum there, he dies. Even if you die for that, it's worth it. Because you force a TP, and you get PA to not farm for a while.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, this is unfortunate, but I mean, it happens.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, generally, your 2 main objectives as an offlaner at this point should be like getting this bot tier 1 and then getting the mid tier 1. Mid tier 1's already fallen. Seems like Winrunner is doing a decent job.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Here, like, you shouldn't be running into the jungle or trying to cut the wave. Again, you should just be double iron shotting the wave. Don't let Quap just sit here and farm. Like, this is a free tower. Just like, put the shot on yourself, put the shot on the creeps. They can't do shit against you. You have a full Vanguard. You're very strong at this point. Like, here's where you should be shotting this guy and not be running into the jungle. Hey, this isn't the point where you should be greedy.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's courier is under attack.
I think that's the 3rd time your courier has died. Try to look more after your courier, man. It's a lot of gold for the enemies. Again, like, you need to put more priority on getting this tower. This tower should have been down by like 4 minutes now. Or 4 minutes. Anyways, now that you've gotten this tower, finally, your team should try. You should try to tell your support to like come into the jungle and like usually de-ward this hill. Like, put a sentry on this hill, put a sentry here, make sure there's no vision here, and you just play their jungle. You farm their entire jungle, so PA can't farm here. Like, basically at this point, your team shouldn't even go top anymore. I mean, the tower's still full. Spectre's having a good time top, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, you can just stay here and get full value. At this point, like playing Darks here, you want to be stacking some camps, just getting value. You don't want to lane versus this Quap because you can't do anything against him. He's just gonna farm.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Like this is exactly where you want your teammates to come to you, and you want to be running at this Alchemist. Like Alchemist of Radiance, he's so weak at this point because you get the Radiance for free, right? Like this entire item, you get it for free because you get the burn if you just make an illusion, right? Generally, I don't like to pick Darks here when you don't have an ally that can abuse the shell, like an Ember Spirit or a Bara or something like that. By Bara I mean Spirit Breaker, but Spectre does count as an Iron Shell carrier. Like right now, if Spectre comes in with your Iron Shell and he's got this Blade Mail, he's very strong. You guys can definitely take fights at this point. That's why I don't like everyone just sitting in the jungle. It's okay for Spectre to be topside because you can just use Haunt, but you want your team to be here fighting right now. You want to use your Wall of Replica. Like you can even call for a smoke at this point. It's your job to try to take the initiative in your team and get your teammates to try to make some moves. Like now isn't the point where you should just farm. You should know that this Alchemist is farming and you're quite strong against him. Like them smoke, they're gonna smoke up. This is good. And they should connect to you. Like it's fine that you're pushing this, but you need to make sure they connect to you. Like you want to fight right now. I can already tell you, if this is just going to be a farm fest, it's not going to be that beneficial for your team because they have both this PA, right? There's a Battle Fury, and this Alchemist has a Radiance just free farming right now. That's why I would like to see you putting more pressure on them, because with these two super greedy cores like PA Alchemist, they're going to have to farm this triangle, right? And they have to farm their jungle. If you can take away their jungle from them, one of them won't be able to farm anywhere. Like if you're just here right now, and you go spawn your wall, this guy probably dies. Like look at where your team is. This is perfect. You see this, them smoking up here? You should be running here right now and killing this Alchemist. Going bottom here is not good, man, at all. Like you need to remember you're an offlane. It's not your job to just farm. You can always come back and push this lane at a different time. But you want to use your wall right now and try to kill this guy. It's such a free kill. Like let's see, if you just ran here right now, connect here, you know, it's a kill. He's probably gonna end up dying anyways, but I would have very much liked to see you being here too. Because if he had just ran down, you know, and you weren't here, he'd probably run away. You do want to make some plays happen right now, but you don't really want to go top. The Spectre is happy just being top. You could have maybe TP'd there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think as soon as you see your Spectre getting gone on, you need to TP top. Yeah, definitely. Like right now is where you need to TP top, man. Like here, if you just TP in here, use your Surge, get your wall down, use your Vacuum, you can probably get some kills. And also it's like, then you can play topside, you can force this jungle in, you can give bot side to Spectre. Like this is usually the area where Spectre wants to play. He wants to have like the ancient camps and the triangle for himself. He doesn't really want to sit top.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Like, I don't like you just sitting AFK bottom at this point in the game. I would very much like to see you making some moves with your team. Like you can see this as pressure, but it's not really pressure because it's just gonna give Alchemist farm, right? Like they're not really on a timer to try to push waves out right now. They're pretty happy when waves are just coming in and they can just farm, because if you think about it, they're super weak at this point. Alchemist has like this Radiance plus plate mail. He's got no BKB. PA went straight Battle Fury. Like you guys should be quite strong. You have like this full Vanguard hood. You can just run in and don't care because you're super tanky. But when you're sitting alone like this, you probably won't be able to make kills. I don't think you die here, so it's whatever. Again, you can just use your Wall of Replica here on him. You shouldn't be so greedy with the spell. Just use it. Farm with the illusion. It's like whatever. But yeah, again here, you want to go to your team, Give this area to Spectre now, and go to your team, play with them. Because whenever he has Haunt, that's when your team wants to make some plays happen. And this is fine, you pushing this in, but you want to go top to your team. Your winner is very strong right now. Like, you want to connect to them. You need to remember, you're not like a pos 1, you're a pos 3. You need to try to play with your team a bit more.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom
It's good that you're pushing in the mid lane, but like this TP again, man, like you're TPing away from your teammates. And you're TPing to the place where I think Spectre should be farming. Someone else should be farming here. You can put so much pressure here, like by pushing this mid lane in, right? Like you can push this mid lane in if not carrying, and you can help your teammates here. But like now when you're here, your team is going to try to fight here with 3 heroes because Spectre's not there either. So now how do they put pressure when there are only 3 heroes, right? How do they pressure this Alchemist PA when you're not there? I do like the Lotus Orb, but I would have liked to see a Greaves. But the Lotus Orb's very good too. Your team hasn't really abused, or at least you haven't really abused the fact that they have this Alchemist and PA. Like, you're completely alone bottom right now. You can actually die here if you go a bit too deep. Like, what's the point of fighting this guy? I like that you summoned your wall finally, but you can't do anything against this guy. You should actually be fine here.
Dire's courier has been
Your winner is very strong right now. Alright, this didn't end too badly, it was fine. Oh, sorry, I mean Essence Ring's a very nice item for you. You could maybe think about Crimson God or Pipe here, it's pretty good. Good versus the Radiance or the Spirit damage. I love Pipe versus Spirit, makes him kind of useless. But again here, I'm gonna guess you're gonna TP bottom, right? But you really shouldn't. The way this should be played right now, you should be going middle to your team, fight with them. And if anyone is gonna go bottom, it needs to be Spectre, because he can connect to your team with his horn. But again, if you're TPing bottom, I'm actually just saying it because I've been watching you play and I'm pretty sure that's what you're gonna do. But if you TP bottom, like your team has to fight 3v5 again while you're just farming bottom. That's why I really hope you don't TP bottom right now. Yeah, like you can't play like this, man. You need to at the very least be with your team right now. Like you want to be here fighting with them. Again, if someone's gonna farm here, it's Spectre, not you. Like, I honestly think you want to be here with your Windrunner and your Rubik and your Warlock. Your guys are very strong right now. Like, this Windrunner is BKB, he's got MKB, he's very, very, very strong. You want to be playing with this guy. Like, you cannot just farm like this. Like, imagine if you were here, he's just gonna end up dying. Oh, if Techies was sleeping, luckily for him. But again, like, look at where your team is, right? Look at this shit, and then look at where you are. You're like stranded on the side of the map. If you want to pressure a side lane with a Doxia, just put your shell on and go join your team, right? Like, you don't need to stay here. Someone's gonna feed here, I can already see it. Oh no, not like this. Wow, Techies is fucking sleeping. Wow. They should have all died there. But anyways, you should definitely be with your team right now. Like, the way you guys should be playing is you need to be as far, Spectre needs to be alone, and I would like if you just get a gem at this point. Like, their team is so weak now. The only thing that makes them strong is like these stupid Techies mines, so gem would be very good. Like, what pressure do you actually think this is? Like, cutting this wave. Where is it applying pressure? It's pushing this wave in, but I mean, they don't care. They're just gonna take this farm. They're gonna be happy about this. Like, you would love to be with your team at this point. Like, you could probably just end up dying here. Because you're so deep. Yeah, pretty sure you're gonna die here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has been denied.
This is not a good death at all, man. I mean, you're like, eh. You know. Like, this kill cost them literally nothing. They only, I mean, they used the Sonic Wave, but it's like, whatever. It's still space for Alchemist to farm. Like, again, what you guys want to be doing now is, as an offlaner, it's your job to also make this call, like make some smoke calls happen. You can't just try to farm in a game. It's not how you play Dota or try to win or climb rank. You need to take the initiative. Like, if I was you right now, I would buy a gem, right? Probably buy a mech. I would tell these guys to smoke with me. Like, when as soon as you're alive, smoke is 4, wait for the haunt, and then you go fight them. Your team is very strong right now. There's no BKB on Alchemist, there's no BKB on PA. This is like the perfect time to fight. Like, this game gets a lot harder if you just let them farm. Like, Winner falls off quite hard versus PA. PA just needs to get an MKB. Alchemist already has his MKB, you know?
Under attack.
Like, I think this game gets pretty hard because they have this Techies, it's just gonna mine everywhere, so it's gonna be hard to push. They have this Alchemist who's just gonna farm, PA is just gonna farm. You're missing the point where you guys are so strong, where your Winona has an MKB, BKB is like basically a god at this point. And your support's also very strong. But like, again, you're like the one TPing to this top lane. How does your team make plays without you, you know? You need to try to change your mindset a bit. It's not all about just getting value, it's about trying to make fights happen. Dota can't be played like this just by farming. Like, you've been part of like 1 kill, right? I've seen so many opportunities like where if you're with your team, you can make some good stuff happen. You're basically just playing like a pause 1. You know, like putting pressure on waves and just farming. Like, again, like, what is the purpose of being up here?
Dire's top tower is
At the end of the day, you're just getting some farm, right? But the enemies are farming too. Look at this Alchemist, he's so happy. And how does your team put pressure on them if you're not here? Like, this winner is probably so sad. He wants a teammate to play with, but he's stuck with these 2 weak supports, and his Darkseers is farming on the other side of the map. Like, this is where you want to run middle again. Right, you didn't die, which is good. Alt's gonna end up dying. And this is good, you were at least finally part of something, right? Not that I agree with where you were, but so be it. I'll say it again, this is where you really want to be with your team, man. And this guy is in such a great, dangerous position now because he doesn't have BKB, his team is not there, Spectre is not yet, but if you're here, it's actually a possible fight because you're very strong at this point. Like, the only time when you should play like this, like pushing the waves, if you want to be this type of player, rather play your like Puck or Furion and go like Boots of Travel so you can always join your team. But as a 3, you should try to avoid this type of gameplay. Like, this game, what have you actually accomplished? You've accomplished just pushing in waves the entire game, right? You've been a part of maybe like, I don't know if you can even call this a fight where you ran away. You took some damage, I guess, which is good, but that was it. Darkseid is a very strong hero. You haven't abused the fact once that you can put the Shell on Spectre and give him Surge. And you haven't played with this winner once, who has like this MKB, BKB, he's very strong. You're constantly just sitting on your own, pushing in waves, but like you haven't done a single point of damage, like much damage to this tower. And again, like, what pressure is this? This doesn't mean anything to the enemies. This is where you need to be with your team, fighting, you know? They shouldn't be fighting now because there's no Spectre Haunt, but you should at least be with them. This tower bottom means nothing. Like, imagine if you're here. You can summon the wall, can give that guy a Lotus Orb, give him a Surge, you know, save him. If someone's gonna be doing this, this is gonna be Spectre, not you. Like, you're TPing so late. At least Rosh didn't die, so it's okay. It's very late, but at least you're coming, which I like. This is the first time you're joining a fight in 27 minutes, which is pretty unacceptable. So yeah, as soon as you come, it's like, fight is easy. The shell is so strong on Docs, I mean on Spectre. You should really get a gem.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Like at this point, what you want, when your Haunted back up, this guy needs to go regen, you need to buy a gem, and you're, oh, this is so scary, man. This is not a very good Techies player. Techies is sleeping on the job. Anyways, when you need to realize when your team is all back alive now, like when Erna coming back, Spectre on top, like that's another opportunity for you guys to run around this floor. All you need to do at this point is you really need to grab a gem. And your team, like they can't fight you right now because they still don't have a BKB, right? Like there's no way they can take a fight. Your hero is super good against Alchemist. Oh, wasn't a very good Warlock ulti, wow. Both his rocks on the high ground. Again, this is where you want to pressure them. You want this guy to come to you now. You four want to run together. You want to be taking the lead because you're very tanky right now. I don't think you can die. I like the pipe. It's decent. I would have liked a blink too so you can get a better jump, but it's fine. But here again, look at where your team is, you know, and look at where you're running. Be more mindful of your team. Like here, instead of running bottom, you can just put pressure on this mid tower and you can put pressure on top tower. Instead of just coming... Like, what is it you hope to achieve here? Do you want to put pressure on Alchemist? He's not going to care if you run after him. He's full HP. Do you want to farm here? Like, what is it you hope to achieve here, you know? Like, let's follow you. Let's see what you do. Alright. Dark's here in no man's land just dying. You know? Like, this is not how you should play. You should be here with them. Taking these towers, you know? Just be more of a team player. I'll forward until you revive. Pretty good item, the craggy coat. Right, now you go with your team. This is not perfect, like the main person who should be in the smoke is not here, like the Windrunner should be here, Spectre should be here, you know. Spectre can just farm because he's got Haunt, but Windrunner should be with you guys for sure. Like, you guys will probably end up winning this game, but you're missing a big opportunity where your team has already been so strong for a long time. Now you're fighting when they have their BKBs up, you know. Now Windrunner's not here, there's no Warlock ulti here. This fight's probably not going to go too badly because no one's here. Techies is like top. I mean, Techies middle, Cop is top. You'll end up living because you're very tanky. This fight's done. And now you can just call either you get the tower or you just go straight into Rush. Like Rush or tower. This is why you need a gem. You can never go high ground here. You should just tell your team to go Rush. Whenever you see like 3 heroes dead, you know, and a hero can really abuse the Aegis like Spectre. Spectre takes Rush very fast because once he gets Manta, the Desolate still works against Roshan, so it's not slow at all. And you can tank it so easily. Ah, you called it. Very good. Ugh. Maybe you don't play it against techies often, but when you see a mine, you know, run away from mine. And this wasn't all your fault, but, you know, sometimes shit happens. them getting the Aegis is pretty disastrous. Don't think you'll lose because your Spectre and Winner are both very strong. You should just let him die, it's like whatever, let the Warlock die. Well, if Winner ends up dying here, it's gonna be super bad. Holy shit, he does a lot of damage, what the hell. Alright, Winner is carrying, everything is fine.
You weren't so damn dead, I'd shoot you again. Every coin helps.
Nothing much to say now, you guys are just gonna farm. I would love to see you buying a gem. I would have loved to see the gem like way earlier. But you're finally playing with your team, which is what I want to see. You should have done this like, I don't know, like 25 minutes ago. When your winner was like massive, is where you should have played with your team. Now the game's hard, because you're playing versus the Techies. Both their cores are kind of farmed, so... Game's a lot harder than it should be. Pretty scary running bottom here. You know your entire team's top. You don't see really where they are. I mean, you see Quap, so... But you don't see the rest. Like, you're opening yourself up to dying here. If you want to push this in, just put like a shell on the creeps, you know? This is another very bad death, which is completely unnecessary. There's no point in coming here. You should rather just be with your team.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This is just a very bad throw.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's turret has been killed. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Like, your team's basically just winning this game without you.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle barracks is under attack.
I mean, at this point in the game's kind of trolly, so there's not a whole lot to say.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I'm just gonna keep it on foot. I don't think anything weird's gonna happen, so it's kind of whatever. Yeah, whatever, this game's done. The main things for you as a player, you need to realize that you're pos 3, right? Like, you need to play way differently at the start. I think this bot lane tower should have gone down way earlier if you had put a bit more focus on that. Also think you need to get the level and wall way earlier, right? And you need to join up with your team way earlier. Like, you need to understand that Spectre is the one that can farm, and you need to run around with this Windrunner. Like, if you just put your Iron Shell on the Spectre who went Beta early on, your team is very strong. Like, Alchemist didn't go BKB, PA didn't go BKB early on, like, they can't fight you at all. They have a stupid Techies as well. If you just grab a gem, there's like nothing they can do as a team. So, try to think about that. This game would have been at least 10 times easier if you just played differently. You still ended up winning because, I mean, Winner just hard carried, right? Inspector did well too. This won't be the case always. Your team won't always do super well. Like, imagine Winner had like a bad game this game and he wasn't just like killing everyone. This game would be so hard. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope it helps you what I said.